Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
consolation. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
Sucks this.
And finally, I'll fix it in post. We
Such
did
a
it.
fun- Yeah.
That was fun. That was a very fun
All right,
episode.
let's end it.
I'm going to hit record in 3, 2, 1. I think Jason even brings it up at one point in a coming scene that it's pretty hack to put out a backwards movie literally right after one came out. So,
There's a coming scene?
yeah.
Give that woman her Oscar.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That counts as a personal tangent. Hello, best friend Brenbrens, and welcome back to Season 3 of Rewatching Home Movies, a weekly watch-along podcast where three friends break down the 1999 animated series Home Movies. My name's Tim, and I'm obsessed with home movies.
My name's Adele, and I'm a home movies newbie.
And my name is Marcin, and I've never seen home movies.
Home Movies Season 3, Episode 7, titled My Cheatin Heart. Original air date October 20th, 2002 on Adult Swim. Written by Brendan Small, Bill Broadus, and cast. Directed by Lauren Bouchard and produced by Carl Adams. Synopsis for this episode: Director Brendan has a hard time convincing Jason and Melissa to make their latest film backwards. Meanwhile, Brendan is forced to work on his golf game after his dad pressures him to play with a potential client.
So, unlike Marcin, I know the title before watching it, and
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be about Brendan's dad cheating on Linda.
Oh.
But Brendan's dad was in it anyway, so I kind of feel like I won a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
I try very hard not to see these titles when we're doing these remote records, and when I was sitting there trying to look, I did see like the C. I saw a C, and I was like, no! So I wrote down what I thought it was going to be, and the only thing I could think of was Criterion Collection. So I thought it could have been movie related in some sense. Even if I saw My Cheating Heart, I wouldn't have thought what it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think titles are usually a little more like clever, double meaning. But this one was kind of just the A-B story for this one was kind of weird too, because I was thinking about it, and it's like the A story is Brendan convincing Jason and Melissa to do the film backwards, and then the B story is Brendan's dad pressuring him to golf. So Brendan is like straddling the A-B story for a majority of the episodes. It's really interesting the way they did this.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into all that and more. But first, why don't we jump into the Creative Corner, shall we? The Creative Corner, of course, is something we're consuming, producing, whatever in the realm of creativity. So why don't you go ahead and bring us in, Shannon? Creative Corner, doodly-doo.
That was great.
Dude, again, I can't believe we're getting people who actually worked on the show to help us with the podcast, and for Shannon to in person too, which is wild.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
it was a threat. He did show up and just like say he was going to do it this episode.
He said, please and thank you.
I did have to
I'm
send
doing Creative Corner flat foot.
I did have to send Gene Wilder home. I let him know. I'm sorry.
No, bring
Shannon.
him back.
Shannon just showed up.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, my bad, Gene.
Next
All
week.
right. Well, who would like to go first in this Creative Corner?
I can go first. So after my Creative Corner last week where I talked about wrestling, it hasn't stopped. Wrestling is booming right now. It's been the first time in a long time. I used to watch wrestling when it was really bad from like the 2015 through the 2019 era. Now that's really good. It's kind of like got me in its grip. Similar to the Creative Corner I had last week, which was Cultaholic, the wrestling podcast, wrestling channel that talks about wrestling, all things, the history of wrestling, and then what's happening in every week. The guy who produces Cultaholic, the YouTube channel, his name's Adam Pacitti, and he has done a lot of different things within the world of wrestling. He was part of a wrestling promotion, WCPW. He was part of What Culture Wrestling a bit ago, but then he created this YouTube channel about wrestling called Cultaholic. But that is not my creative corner. My creative corner is a documentary he did like 13 years ago called Pinfall, professional wrestling documentary. And what it is was he, as a fan, like going through a documentary of what it takes to become a professional wrestler. In the documentary, he goes to training and he interviews all these other independent wrestlers. And he, at the end, goes and does a battle royal. And you see how much pain and how much dedication, how much work goes into professional wrestling. And not just for like the paycheck, because there's a lot of professional wrestlers who wrestle for a hot dog. That is they just do it for the passion, for the artistry of it. So my creative corner, if you don't really understand why wrestling is so important to people, I would definitely recommend watching this documentary. It's a Pinfall, a professional wrestling documentary by Adam Pacitti.
Nice. I've only seen one wrestling documentary. It was the Jake the Snake documentary, one of the Wrestling in Shadows about Jake the Snake.
Dark Side of the Ring? Yeah.
Yeah. About Jake the Snake Roberts, and it broke my heart. It was really sad.
Yeah, wrestling's sad sometimes. Like, a lot of times it's really sad.
It's sad, and it also infuriates me that Vince McMahon basically paid these guys peanuts to destroy their bodies, never offered them insurance, never took care of them, and then the ones that wrestled that, had a direct hand in making this man millions and millions of dollars have to start GoFundMes for their major surgeries that are required of them to live a semi-pain-free life. It's
in
bullshit.
short, fuck Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you could have said, like, it infuriates me that Vince McMahon, and just full stop right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because ever since I was a kid, I've known that man was evil. He has done so many things. I literally was just watching, like, before we got on this podcast, SummerSlam 2000. It was a triple threat, Triple H, Rock, and Kurt Angle. And Kurt Angle got concussed during the match. And Vince McMahon sent him back out there to finish the match while concussed. He woke up 3 a.m. in the hospital later that night and is like, what happened? They're like, you don't know? He's like, yeah, I have no idea. I know we were at a pay-per-view and that was it. So,
yeah,
wow.
That sounds right. Not my creative corner, but very good series of Behind the Bastards episodes about how much of a piece of shit Vince McMahon is.
Yep, legitimately. But all of that to say is, like, professional wrestlers are not Vince McMahon. They are artists, and they are passionate people who love the competitive, like, theatrical nature of professional wrestling. And I highly suggest that documentary that Adam Pacitti did. It's called Pinfall, a professional wrestling documentary.
Hell yeah. That's dope. Very good creative corner.
Yeah.
Del, would you like to go next, or shall I?
You can go next.
Okay. My creative corner is something that I am consuming, for sure. And it's honestly like kind of the base level ground roots of anything and everything I've ever done creatively. My creative corner is marijuana.
Hell yeah.
I am going to keep it 100%. I am a huge advocate for responsible marijuana use. We are very fortunate that we live in a state that it is legal, but well before it was legal. I grew up in a time and in an area where drinking was the norm, and what drugs you did from there, it was kind of a choose your own adventure. But we had a lot of shit in the area, and so from a very young age, I tried alcohol, I tried many other things. And because I've seen alcoholism in my own family, because I've seen pill and other drug addiction in my own family with my own friends, I've lost friends. Marijuana has always been something that has been kind of my, it's my go-to. It calms my stress. It helps me creatively. It definitely helps me sleep. It's just something that I've chosen time and time again over hard drugs, over alcohol. And it's something that I truly feel until I am an old man, I will probably consume and advocate for. I've seen people with medical conditions that use marijuana, and it helps them tremendously. I've used THC and CBD rubs when I was having back issues, and it helped tremendously. So I am a huge advocate for it. I cannot sing its praises enough. The concept of this podcast more than likely came to me while high. Majority of my comedy is written and performed while high. It's just my ultimate coping mechanism that doesn't give you the same issues that, say, alcoholism or other drug addictions might. So, and the cool thing is, I go by the stage name Timmy Blaze. My sister is also a comedian who goes by the stage name with the last name Blaze. And her and I both, and a majority of my family, are huge pro-marijuana advocates. So when you talk about creative things and consuming things, the Venn diagram for me is just a perfect circle with a dope-looking pot leaf in the middle of it.
Hell yeah. I second all of that. I feel like weed, for me personally, has both helped me see a lot of life differently. I feel like it's opened my mind a lot and kind of helped heal me a lot, as well as helped creatively and just deal with life. So yeah, weed is great.
Yeah. And not to get too deep into our personal relationship, but it's definitely like a bonding ritual for us.
Oh yeah, we pray to Gene on the
I was
green
gonna
every
say.
day.
We pray to Gene. My relationship with marijuana is, I used to be straight edge for a very long time.
Sure.
I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't smoke. I grew up Catholic. What can I say?
Yeah.
The shame is there. And it wasn't until the pandemic hit when I was like, the end of the world's happening. Let me just try these things out. And I remember taking an edible and I did not know for a long time that I had ADHD. I had been undiagnosed for a long time. And then when I took an edible, I could physically, and I just hear my thoughts for the first time ever. I was able to just slow down, and I was able to think coherent, consecutive thoughts without everything just being jumbled. And it was such a nice feeling. I'm not going to advocate people, if you don't want to smoke marijuana, don't smoke marijuana, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people can't handle it. Some people don't, respond the way that other people do. It's all about what you want to experience. And the same thing that Tim was talking about, where it comes to family members and friends getting lost to addiction. My entire family was caught up in pills, so I was scared of any type of drugs.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was much older that I realized how many people I knew who have tried cocaine, and the younger fifth grade dare person I used to be was clutching my pearls cocaine. But
Dare was just we dare you to do
yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. But I also sing the praises of marijuana just because it has helped me have some coherent philosophical conversations with myself and other people about just living and life and kind of understanding what I want out of life. I am right there with you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then just to put the nice little bow on this creative corner, I'm not sure if I ever told you this, Marcin, but when you and I first met, I feel like we've really, really hit it off. We clicked very well. And I remember very distinctly telling Adele right after the first time we met, I'm like, I want to smoke weed with that dude.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't, but one day.
Oh yeah.
And it genuinely, it's such a pleasure every time we do have the chance to go visit Gene on the Green.
Yep.
One day we'll tell that Gene story. It won't be now because
No.
I don't want to waste my my tangents.
We only have so many tangents this episode.
Yeah,
so.
Gotta save them up.
But yeah.
So that is my creative corner for this week.
Brilliant. Great creative corner.
Thank you.
My turn.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Do you? Because I have two that I've been
okay.
going back and forth with. So guys, I have something to admit. I have fully drank the Kool-Aid for this band, and the band's name is Sleep Token. And so I don't even know if I could put it in the metal genre because it's so diverse. It's metal, it's synth, it's classical music. I digress. So the band Sleep Token, it's been hard for me to kind of explain it in words out loud for people to hear because On the surface, it's just like a really good band, but for me, it's almost like it's transcendental. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Transcendental meditation.
Yes, exactly. Because I feel like it's so spiritually charged, and it makes my brain vibrate. I need it all the time. And the reason why it's my creative corner today is because a couple days ago they just released that they are going on tour and that they're going to be having a new album in May, and they just dropped a single. So go listen to it because it's fucking amazing. At the very end, there's a minute-long saxophone solo that is, whoo! It's good.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil that part, but yeah, that is.
I'll spoil it because it's the best.
Well, no,
part.
I didn't want to spoil it before you had the chance to say it
Okay.
because I know this is your. But yeah, as soon as we were like, everyone have their creative corners, I'm like, Adele's, it's going to be Sleep Token. I know it.
Absolutely. I'll do the other one I was thinking of next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
You sent me a sleep token the other night. I don't think I messaged you back because I did listen to it. It was Take Me Back.
Oh, you did?
Take Me to Eden.
Nice. Yeah.
I was not expecting any of that just because it was just so different and so much, and it went through so many different phases, and then it got to the end and it was just so intense.
Dude, I wish I could explain how music makes me feel in general. I don't think I could even begin to explain how their music makes me feel. But it's almost like they're channeling something when they make their music. And the lead singer goes by the name Vessel because it's less about him and more about the music, which is also something that is very important to me. He gets fetishized anyway because there's sexual undertones in some of their songs, but
Oh, and he wears a mask.
And he wears a
right,
mask,
right.
so
the anonymity
us
of
masks or girls are going crazy.
We have a mutual friend who went fucking insanely wild for Ghost from Call of Duty. It's just...
That's another popular one.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the person that turned Adele onto Sleep Token also had a thing for Ghosts from Call of Duty.
I don't know what it is with masks, but people love masks.
It's because it takes away almost like the flawed human element out of it.
Right.
And then you can also project anything that you want onto that person.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm saying, the pandemic was perfect for, uggos, man. Cover that bottom half. Nobody knows. You're mysterious. Hell yeah.
It
I
was good.
thriving.
It was good for us. It was good for us.
Excuse me, did you just inadvertently call yourselves Uggo? I'm going to go. I got to go.
That was not inadvertent. Adele, that was an amazing creative corner. And I can say truly, guys, this creative corner, we fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
These are
solid
some
creative
really
corners.
good creative corners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
let's go.
Let's fucking go, guys.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of crushing it, I really like this episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's so clever.
My Cheatin Heart. Well, let's just jump into it.
Head first.
This episode opens not with the opening theme, not even with a movie. We open with Coach McGurk wearing a very interesting vest saying, "My father taught me a poem when I was growing up." Even asks you want to hear it. We pan over to see Andrew and Brendan. Andrew asks if he's compelled to tell it, and McGurk says, "Well, I got the poem locked and loaded." He begins the poem, something, 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 run. Now he's paraphrasing here. Something, 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 son.
I had an idea
Deep.
of what that poem could be. I am going to save it for the very end, but I did have an idea.
Interesting. I did not assume it was actually based off something, but knowing H. John Benjamin and the way he probably improvs, it very well could be based off an actual poem.
Yeah.
Coach goes on to say it's good to have poems like that from childhood. And Andrew asks, "So you said your father read that to you?" And McGurk replies, "I think he wrote it." Andrew thanks Coach for what he tried to do for Brendan, and Coach quickly corrects him for helping out your kid. Coach tells him no problem, and he likes Brendan, and even proceeds to shake Andrew's hand. That's when we see a cop show up and grab McGurk and tell him, "All right, let's go." So that's when Coach asks Andrew about being a lawyer, and Andrew says he's not really that kind of lawyer. He does more out-of-court litigation, and he can't really help. Now that's when we cut over to Paula saying, "I found the foot. It's finished. Brendan, the clock has stopped. I found the foot."
I don't know why I was surprised by this, but I was surprised that Coach McGurk was openly like, I like Brendan. I don't know why that like shocked me that he was able to admit that he actually likes Brendan. But it was sweet.
I think so too.
I juxtaposed with the first episode when he was, they're just like, yeah, McGurk the jerk. And now they're,
Yeah.
they have such a, I don't know if strong is the right word, but they have such a strong relationship where it's, Brendan clearly trusts McGurk to come in and swoop in and help him out at certain points in this episode especially. But one of the other things, when it first started, I literally was stopped. I was like, "Oh, am I like halfway in the episode?" Like I was checking the, and I was like, "Are we in a different episode?" Like, and I was like, "I can't check," and then it cut to what it cuts to, and I'll let you finish that.
Right. Well, and that was actually going to be my question, though, is like, yeah, obviously you thought like, "Oh shit, am I in the wrong episode? Am I halfway through?" But when you did get that realization, what did you think was happening?
I genuinely thought I fucked up because that's one of my biggest fears that we like start the episode and like my computer freezes or something and we're like off sync or whatever. So when we started immediately and it was McGurk just like talking to me, I was like, oh, he's looking at me right now. He's just staring into the camera talking to me. I was like, oh, I fucked up here. I literally looked. I was like, are we on the right episode? Oh, that's the right episode. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, I heard you say it because that's when Andrew asked Brendan why she's doing that, and Brendan says he has no idea. The camera punches in on Brendan with him saying, "Oh, what a week." So now we have a wipe transition, and it says 6 days earlier. I believe we're just going to jump. This is going to be our first clip. We're just going to jump right into it, yeah?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
I dare you.
So this is Brendan talking to Jason and Melissa 6 days earlier.
We show the movie backwards. Huh? It'll be cool. You know, it opens with the ending, and then it ends with the beginning. It's backwards.
Brendan. You can't just make a movie backwards.
Oh, no. I can see that. That's the new thing. You know, all the directors are doing it, so...
But, Brendan, if we show the ending first, then won't that give away the ending?
Yeah, but no, because it's not really the ending.
Brendan, the movie's already written.
Right.
Forwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's in order already.
Right.
So you can't change it and just make it backwards.
No, I can. All the directors are doing it.
Yeah, Brendan, but those directors are hacks, and they're just looking for a hook.
Let's shoot the last scene, which is now the opening scene. You'll see. Okay. Last scene. Action.
Oh. No, Larry, let me tell you how it's going to be. I'm going out there and walking down that aisle.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Alone, in the other direction. Down the aisle and out the door. That's what happens when you have an affair with my sister the night before our wedding.
Kathy, can't you give me another chance?
Look, Larry, the only thing I'm going to do... the only thing is... Wait, can we do it again? I screwed it up.
Nope, cut. Perfect.
But I messed
Perfect.
up. Brendan.
I'll fix it in post.
You always say you're going to fix it in post, but you know what? You don't fix anything in post.
Next scene, which is really the next to the last scene. Okay. Action.
You had an affair with my sister?
Cut. Perfect.
I don't know, Brendan.
I will fix it in post.
That's a wrap for today, guys. My dad's coming to pick me up.
Oh, man. A few things there. Jason very angrily being like, he'll fix it in post at the end. That shit cracks me up. Real quick background catch. When we see Jason and Melissa, the framing with them, we have that costume closet again with a bunch of their outfits and props and all that stuff is kind of in the background when Jason and Melissa are kind of making their points to Brendan. Having it from this point of view made me realize that, yes, Coach McGurk probably gave Brendan his uniform from when he worked at the coffee shop, but still attached to that uniform is the name tag that says Brendan Small because Coach
funny.
got the job under Brendan's name.
Wow. Is that the catch you were talking about earlier today?
No, that's not even one of the
shit.
2 catches that I made earlier today.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I had 1 or 2. One of them, I wouldn't say this is a catch necessarily, but like it's called The Affair, a film by Brendan Small. He's showing it in the
There
script.
it is.
And then he crossed out the, and so it's an N affair to end with.
Right. So when he originally wrote the movie was just called The Affair. But because Brendan decided he wants to change the order of the movie, yes, just like Marson said, he puts an "an" and changes it to "an affair" to end with. So yeah, good catch, because that was a direct result of him wanting to do this movie backwards.
So any artists trying to explain their vision to other people, I think, could relate to this scene specifically. I don't know how many times I've been in the editing booth with Nate, and I'm just like, okay, we'll do this. And he's like, oh, but that, I don't know about that. I'm like, no, but just watch it first, and then you'll get it. He has an idea here. Brendan is clearly inspired by a movie like Memento or something like that.
Literally, when Brendan was like, we'll make the movie backwards, and Jason and Brendan were like, you can't do that. Out loud, Marson is like, why not? Why can't you do that?
There's I'm not sure what movie it is. I think something with Will Ferrell and basketball. I cannot remember it. But in the movie,
Semi-pro?
Yeah, I think it might have been semi-pro. But in the movie, it's the first time they do an alley-oop where they throw the ball and someone like grabs it.
That's semi-pro.
And dunks it, and the ref's like, foul. And he's like, no, that's not a foul. He's like, look at him. Look at that. You can't tell me that wasn't foul. There's some shady stuff going on there. The first time you do something, people aren't going to get it. You just got to go with it. You got to experiment. I wish Jason would let the man experiment.
The next scene, we have Andrew and Brendan, and they appear to be at a driving range hitting golf balls. Andrew says he agrees with Melissa and Jason. You can't just show a movie backwards. Brendan tells him he doesn't understand, and Andrew proceeds to try to help Brendan with his golf swing. He gives him multiple directions very quickly, like stick out your butt, bend your knees, lean on the balls of your feet. And then in the middle of all these instructions and telling him to relax, he's suddenly like, okay, swing now. At this point, it is pretty obvious Brendan sucks at golf. Andrew goes on to say it's a great game and teaches discipline and humility and sportsmanship and math. But the whole thing is it's something they can do together. And so that's why he signed up Brendan for golf lessons. Brendan, not really feeling it, pushes back and says golf is not for him, but Andrew disagrees.
I'll go on record and say that I fucking hate golf. It's a white rich man sport.
I don't want to go on a tangent, but I will also say I despise golf. I really do. Even mini golf, I cannot fucking stand, to be honest. Like, why am I going to spend $20 to, like, stand in a line with my friends and talk shit while we don't keep score? Like, I just, not a fan of it. I really don't. I didn't understand why our school had a club for golf. Like, they just look like a bunch of finance bros, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mind mini golf. I've been to some pretty dope mini golf courses.
Doing mini golf when there's not a bunch of people and you don't have to wait, like, that's the way to do it. If it's crowded, yeah, fuck that. But I don't mind mini golf every 3 years.
Yeah, I'm there. For me, mini golf is like the Jason of friend activities.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay, scratch the mini golf idea for a double date with Marson and Nick.
That's for my anti-birthday.
There you go.
Yeah.
The following scene, we see a soccer ball flying at Melissa, and Coach yells at her that she has great reflexes because for a minute there, he thought the ball was going to hit her. Then Coach goes on to tell Brendan that a backwards movie doesn't make sense, especially for someone like Coach who tends to show up to the movies late. So he'd hate to find out that he showed up 5 minutes late and missed the ending.
I mean, that's kind of fair. I mean, they're going to show the ending again later, ideally.
Ideally.
How about show up on time to watch a movie? Like, just show up.
Yeah.
Dude, to be 5 minutes late, to walk into a movie 5 minutes into it, means you were literally like 45 minutes late. They play so many previews before the movie.
They really do.
Yeah. And I am a man who has been late to many movies, and I remember like every time I've missed the first opening scene, and it's like twice, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, which who fucking cares? And then Avatar, the second one, which who fucking cares? So
I agree with Avatar, but that's why you didn't like Sonic, is because you missed the beginning.
I mean,
Right.
the beginning part where they show Sonic for like 5 seconds, which was the only reason I convinced my cousin to go, and we missed it.
Oh. Memories making memories.
That's right. Well, Coach goes on to say he thinks Andrew is right about golf and that Brendan should take it up. He even told Brendan he used to golf in high school and almost made it to state finals. And I almost won. And Brendan's like, what happened? He's like, I didn't. And then he's like, I choked. But not the way you think. He choked his opponent out. We even see a quick flashback of this happening.
Is this a 70s McGurk? It looks like this, like a 70s.
He said high school.
Yeah.
And we saw his tassel that said he graduated in 83. But that does mean he was going to school in like 79, 80.
Yeah.
One thing I caught was when they do the quick pan up of McGurk in the flashback, of fucking course, he has a whistle around his neck.
Oh.
Good catch.
I thought you were going to talk about the skull cleats he has.
No, I didn't see those.
He's wearing skull, like he has shoes, the white shoes, cleats, and they have like 2 skulls on each shoe.
That's funny.
I didn't even notice the whistle. I was too focused on the shoes. I was like, what are you trying to say?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, I see the skulls.
That is such a 70s outfit. It's got the flare pants, the fucking collar,
Yeah.
the hat, the fro.
Yeah, he's got the little fro going. But yep,
Got a pair.
absolutely. If you stop at 434 on the episode, he's totally got the whistle around the neck. And a couple gold chains, too.
Yeah, he's styling. He's fly.
There is another aspect of this little flashback that I noticed that I had never noticed before. I'm going to bring it up a little bit later.
Okie dokie.
All right. Coach goes on to say that he got his just rewards by meeting him in the parking lot afterwards and stealing his clubs. Coach asked Brendan what he would rather have, a trophy or a new set of golf clubs. And they both agree. A new set of golf clubs,
Well, yeah, you can actually use golf clubs.
right?
Yeah, you can sell them.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then almost out of nowhere, Coach asks Brendan, so you want me to help you with golf or not? And Brendan says, no, thanks. Coach goes on to yell at Melissa. Coach goes on to yell at Melissa and ask her if she's comfortable. We pan over and see that she's actually sitting on the ground as a soccer ball goes by her into the goal. Coach asks if she wants a chair, and she says no thank you, but maybe something to drink. Coach turns to Brendan and tells him he doesn't think Melissa understood the sarcasm, and then sends Brendan off to get Melissa. Jesus Christ.
She has so many different names.
Melissa?
This
It's because I keep
Melissa.
reading ahead slightly. Okay, so then he sends Brendan to get Melissa some juice and a chair. There it is, Maluska.
He's actually being nice to Melissa because he's like, yeah, I'm not going to get her juice. No. He says, go get her some juice. She asked for some
Get her some
juice.
Yeah,
And a chair.
they have some good banter this episode. I really like this episode. There's a lot of lines in this episode that are weird earworms for me. But as I was doing the breakdown, I distinctly remember in the original Adult Swim, so this would be like 2002, they used to play these like bumps in between episodes where sometimes they would be like promoting a show or, you know, just a bunch of goofy bumps. It would just be white text on a black background. This episode of Home Movies, I remember they made a little promo, like a little maybe 45-second promo for Home Movies and used so many clips from this episode specifically. Him asking Melissa if she wants a chair. Him and Melissa talking about Wilson. The part where he's like, I'm just trying to help a kid. Him talking about being in the golf tournament in high school and choking. Like all those little snippets were in a very quick promo. So they all really stick out in my head when I hear them again when I did the breakdown for this episode.
I wonder why they picked this episode.
It's a very good episode.
It's a very good
Yes,
episode.
it
And I
is.
think, you know, season 3 was really starting to ramp up. So I think they were like, you know what? We're putting out some bangers this season. Let's really push it.
Oops, all bangers.
I'm saying. All right. Well, the next scene, we see Brendan at a driving range, and behind him appears to be a golf coach.
So first off, this guy's my doodle. I was like,
Yes.
I haven't seen you ever. I think I even said like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are you? Like, I think I said that.
Yeah.
That was my like intuition, my instinct. I was like, who is this man? But I didn't get angry because I knew they would explain who this man was in this episode. They didn't.
Did they?
Well, like I said, I believe the assumption is he is a golf coach. He is teaching Brendan. No, this is the man who is giving Brendan his golf lessons. Andrew says at the driving range that golf is important. That's why I got you lessons. Well, this is the teacher for those lessons.
Golf man.
Golf man. Coach, in parentheses, golf.
Coach.
As opposed to coach, in parentheses, soccer.
Yeah.
And he's got some Black Hole hard lemonade.
I saw that.
Nice. Yeah, next line. Sipping on Black Hole hard lemonade. Of course, a kind of a tribute to Mike's hard lemonade. I guess Black Hole hard lemonade is in direct competition with Davio's hard lemonade. Because we saw Davio's hard lemonade at the Battling of the Bands.
I forgot. 2 different hard lemonades in this universe.
I could not remember the Davio being the name of the hard lemonade, but I did want to bring up the hard lemonade because I remember that specifically. Yeah. So I guess they are in direct competition.
Yeah. And what's funny is I personally would have to go with Davio's hard lemonade because I know Davio personally. But I also know that David Santangelo was the one who came up with the name of Black Hole Brew. So he's playing both sides. This is a Jimmy John's own Subway situation all over again.
Yeah. They have the same parent company.
Yeah.
It's all the same company. It's all the same people. Shut the hell up! Shut up!
Better life! Better life!
The old man. The old man.
He's got all the money, the old man.
Yeah, he does. That's why he plays golf.
Hey, that's good.
It's the eyebrows.
That is really good. He had no nose, I noticed.
Yeah.
Right before we got to him, I was like, shit, I don't think there's any new characters from Arson to Doodle. And I'm like, oh, you guys spoke too soon.
There was the nurse that I was going to definitely grab if it wasn't for this cryptid.
Oh, yeah, for 2 seconds. So, well.
Scripted.
Golf coach is telling Brendan a backwards movie just sounds silly. Immediately asked him if he's seen Memento, and then was like, it was great. I love it. In 2 sentences, he tells Brendan, a backwards movie, that sounds silly. Also, this notoriously backwards movie was great.
People don't understand the vision until they see it.
That's right. Well, Memento did come out 2000, 2001. So this movie had just come out. So I think Jason even brings it up at one point in a coming scene that it's pretty hack to put out a backwards movie literally right after one came out. So
there's a coming scene?
Yeah.
Give that woman her Oscar.
I'm sorry.
That counts as a personal tangent.
Sorry.
Nope, all that's staying in. He then goes on to explain to Brendan that the movie Sunset Boulevard opens with the main character dead in a pool. I like this. He suggests at one point they open with the middle or open with the beginning, then show the ending, then end it with the middle.
Interesting.
It could work. It'll change the world.
Yeah. During this entire conversation, the coach keeps like, hit another one. Hit another one, Brendan. So then Brendan claims his arms are getting tired, and the coach asks him, do you think professionals complain about their arms getting tired?
Yes.
It was funny. Brendan and Marson at the same time were like, yes.
I did laugh at that. I was like, damn it. Like, this entire episode, I've never related more to Brendan than in this episode. I hate golf. I hate that my parents are forcing me to do things. No one understands my vision. God damn it.
Oh, shit.
Very relatable.
I wonder how much this golf coach is getting paid.
Right. Because he is checked out.
Yeah.
It keeps calling this man a coach, but I don't see a fucking whistle anywhere.
Can't be a coach without a whistle.
Yeah. We'll call him the golf instructor.
That's true.
The next scene starts, I love this. It starts with Jason saying, so here's the deal. And then he tells Brendan he thinks a backwards movie is too avant-garde. Melissa agrees and continues to say it's not that the movie is stupid, it's just the way you want to do it is stupid.
Damn, sniped.
Yeah. Quick background catch. So this seems to be a continuation of their conversation. Well, not really. I mean, it's a continuation of the conversation, but it happens later on. Mm-hmm. But they're in the same area. For whatever reason, now this time, we have a gnome on the table.
With a mustache.
With a mustache and sunglasses. Jason and Melissa go on to plead their case with Brendan, and the entire time, Brendan is just giving a series of,
Sometimes you just gotta check out. You've already made your decision. You're gonna do it anyway, and you're just gonna have to let them say their piece. Just deal with it. Just move on. They don't understand.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, there it is.
Fix it in post.
I did love earlier when Melissa said like one line, and then Brendan was like, "Ah, perfect cut." And she said, "What are you talking about?" Do you know how many times I've done that to just like people I'm working with, and they have no idea why I cut right there, and I'm like, "No, it's all up here, baby. Don't worry about it." And they start asking me questions like,
Well, this cracks me up because Brendan pushes back and specifically says, well, everyone I talk to says it's a great idea.
Lie.
Which is so funny because the last 3 scenes start with Brendan and someone mid-conversation and them literally being like, I don't know, man, a backwards movie is silly. No, Jason and Melissa are right. You can't just show the movie backwards. So, yeah, Brendan is lying.
Also, background catch. I'm not sure if we touched on it, but he has like 2 parody Tarantino
movie posters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got those right here.
Okay.
So we have Plump Fiction instead of Pulp Fiction.
Was that when they were doing the fat movies?
And that one has Melissa and she's a little plump. And the other one is Reservoir Cats instead of Reservoir Dogs.
Can I say, in the poster of Reservoir Cats, you can kind of see who is playing who in there, because you see Jason. I feel like Mr. Lynch is one of them because he's got a bow tie there and he's kind of vaguely shaped.
I see it.
And I think that might be Eric, like next to Jason, and then
yeah, I can see that too.
2 other characters. I have no idea who they are, but like
So I'm at we're at timestamps like 6:09 where you see the Reservoir Cats. Oh my gosh, it's not Plump. I got it completely wrong. It's not Pulp Fiction. It's not Plump Fiction. It's Plump Fashion.
damn.
So we're at 6:09. Plump Fashion is the movie on the left.
You can fix it in post.
Thank you. And Reservoir Cats. And yeah, I see it. I see Jason, Eric. Is that maybe Brendan and Lynch?
I see Lynch for sure. I don't know if that'd be Brendan because the little pointy thing on there. I have no idea who those other 2 would, but I definitely see Lynch and Eric and Jason in there.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, and again, this is at like 6:09. If you're even on the YouTube video, that's the one I usually use. After Brendan is like, well, everyone I talk to says it's a great idea, Jason was like, who did you talk to? Other hacks? What'd you call the hack hotline?
Jason was not my favorite this episode, let me tell you.
Dude, Jason was giving it to him because he even at one point goes on and he's like, well, Brendan, you're the air quotes director.
Yeah, that was bogus as fuck.
Yeah. A couple things real quick. I think at one point Melissa is like, Brendan, we love you. You love your work. We're just not happy about this particular project. And Jason butts in, puts his hand on Melissa's hand.
Yeah, he does.
And is like, although he has made some hack movies in the past. And even points out that a lot of his work is derivative.
Damn.
Yeah.
He also called Melissa Meliss. I'm gonna say that's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. I know Jason's being a dick in this episode, but him calling her Melissa, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute.
Isn't that right, Melissa?
I think he's kind of showing out for Melissa. I think he's
absolutely
at
absolutely
Brendan's expense.
Yeah.
During that conversation, at one point, Jason puts his hand on Melissa's to be like, although, and even at one point, Melissa puts her hand on Jason's and was like, we'll do it your way, Brendan, but if it doesn't work, can we just do it the regular way? And Brendan agrees, and Melissa's like, are you crossing your fingers? And we see the back view, and he is, and he goes, One of them calls him out for crossing his eyes, and then Jason just tells him, again, hack move.
Jason's being a little naysayer today.
It's not not even just the naysaying. I don't even think he believes most of what he's saying. I think he's just trying to be hot shit right now.
Kids, gather round. Do not tear down your homies just to impress someone or to chat up a lady. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's Melissa.
Even if it's Melissa or Mollusca or
Who's a
whatever it
badass?
was. Melusa?
Melisco.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys. Come on. Now I got to keep those in so everyone gets the reference.
Ooh, hee, hee.
All right. Well, the following scene, we are at the pediatrician, Dr. Roberts. I don't know if it's a reference or not. There's a Beatles song from like 1966. I think it was their second album called Dr. Robert. I don't know if it's a reference. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We pan by a few injured and sick kids and then pan over to see a couch with a very bored Brendan and a very sick Josie, with Paula reading a baby fun game quiz book. Brendan asks why Josie gets so many ear infections and tells Paula maybe it's because you don't clean her ears good enough. Paula is like locked into this book and she's just like, yeah, that's probably it. The nurse comes out and calls for Miss Small, saying the doctor's ready for Josie, and Paula's like, yep, okay, give me a couple minutes here. The nurse starts to call the next patient, and Brendan kind of speaks up, and that's when she explains to Paula, you can just take the book in the doctor's office. So hurriedly, Paula picks up Josie, and she's like, okay, Brendan, let's go.
Surprised Josie was as quiet as she was, because I've had ear infections, and they are painful.
Dude. My family went on vacation once to Florida. When we had went, they were at a 70-day drought. So, like, it was bad. So when we got there, it rained all week. So we were like, man, this sucks. But everyone in Florida was like, hell yeah. We went, they had an indoor swimming pool. And between me, my brother, and my sister, we had 5 infected ears. So my brother and I had, both of our ears were infected. My sister, one ear was infected. And it was so fucking miserable, dude.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like the worst pain I have ever felt in my life.
Yeah, I wish that on no one. I used to have them all of the time. It sucked so bad. It's so pain. It's the worst pain I've ever had, honest.
Yeah. I couldn't move my jaw to eat. I could barely talk. I wanted to sleep, but it was uncomfortable to sleep on either side. It fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But I brought a bunch of marijuana from my creative corner, and that made it a little bit better.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I once got a double ear infection from crying on my back and the tears pooling in my ears.
Oh.
That is the saddest thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry.
No. I feel bad
So
for
don't do that,
you.
kids.
Was-
If you're going to cry in bed, do it while laying on your side.
Was it something I did?
No, this was the before times.
Oh.
If you're going to cry on your
Sorry.
enemies. Give them the ear infection.
Yeah. Cry face down.
Cry face down, ass up.
That's the way we like to cry.
That's my one tangent for today.
Yeah.
Sick.
No, I'm going to
Still
take
got
that
two.
as mine. Well, we're back at the golf course with Brendan and his golfing instructor. Brendan is putting. It is the slowest putt I've ever seen, and it finally goes in. The instructor points out, you got a 14, huh? Which is better than a 15, as we like to say. Dude, this part cracks me up so much. He is adding up Brendan's score, and as he is adding, the camera is just slowly panning back further and further and further. I think at one point, Brendan even gives a couple like, Finally, Brendan asks, how's it going? And we like snap back into the scene. And he's like, huh? What's that now? Just adding up a couple more holes there.
I think Brendan's response is going to be a new earworm for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
Mhm.
he's like, no, because the response he does when he's done, he's like, if it's any constellation, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He adds up Brendan's score and he says, you have 126 for 9 holes.
Damn.
I did some math. That is an average of 14 strokes per hole.
Damn.
And you got to keep in mind, do you guys know what par means? Like if a hole is a par 4?
No.
That's fine. We don't golf. We're not rich.
Fair.
It means like it should take you 4 strokes or shots to get it there. So if it's a par 5, it's a longer distance to the hole, but if it's a par 3, it's closer. So some of these holes are a par 3. That means he had an average of 14 strokes per hole. Okay, that is bad. The next scene, he tells his dad he shot a 94. Okay. And that's assuming over 18 holes, which if you average that, he's saying it took him 5.2 strokes per hole. So he is lying tremendously.
Almost three times the amount.
Yeah.
I can't pay attention to the math. You keep saying like strokes per hole, and I'm trying to make some sort of joke out of it and not say it.
This is the coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. Adele and I can't golf because we can't afford it. Marcin can't golf because it makes him too horny.
Oh, what doesn't? I'm just gonna. I did there a slight catch here because he's like on the scorecard. You can see the scorecard for a slight moment, and it says, I think it says Subotnik Kravitz Public Golf Course or Sabotnik Kravitz Public Golf Course. So maybe that's who he is. Maybe that's Kravitz.
Maybe. We'll say it's
Interesting.
Kravitz.
Yeah.
That sounds like an old man name.
The golf instructor does tell Brendan, hey, I don't say this often, but you're a terrible golfer. And that's when Brendan says, hey, if it's any consolation, I really don't care.
Say it with your chest, man. Say it with your full fucking chest.
Yeah.
Brendan admits that he hates golf, and the instructor asks him, okay, then we're through here? And Brendan says, yes, so give me the scorecard. The instructor immediately falls asleep, and as Brendan is walking away, he starts laughing, saying, I can't believe they use pencils.
Wrote that down. Very fucking funny. Very fucking true.
Yep. Well, it's the next scene. Brendan's talking to his dad, and his dad is surprised. You shot a 94? And Brendan says, yeah. His dad tells him that's great. He's playing with a prospective client next week, and the client's bringing his son, so Brendan can come along too. Brendan is not feeling it. Like right off the bat, he's like, oh, this weekend? No.
No.
I go golfing. I go
No.
golfing. No. I go golfing. No.
I'm sad Ken Adelberg wasn't the golf instructor.
You could.
That would have been so much better.
Brendan
Yeah.
talking to Brendan would have been great.
Yeah. At this point, Brendan comes clean and says he changed his score, and Andrew says it doesn't matter. They're still going to play golf, and that he's going to pick him up Sunday at 6:45. Brendan asks, we're playing at night? And Andrew laughs, saying, that's funny. Funny guy.
What is it with Brendan's parents and making him do things he doesn't want to do?
That's parents, baby.
It's a parents thing, especially at that age. Here's a weird thing that I always enjoyed about this episode, but for some reason, Brendan approaches Paula. Paula is still just completely locked in on that book. And Brendan has this little like, well, Dad wants to play golf. I don't want to play golf, but Dad wants to. And I changed my score. And I told him. And he doesn't care. But I don't want to play. But he wants me to play. So I got to play, you know? And Paula is just like not paying attention at all.
I don't know what was with Paula this episode. I feel like she's in a disassociative episode throughout this entire episode.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because she was looking for the foot.
Like we knew that's what she was doing the whole episode.
The
Right.
very first scene of this episode, she screams, I found the foot. I found it.
That's fair. Okay.
Now, that scene does have a little bit of a perspective we do not see the first time, and we'll get there when we get there. So
Here's a question. How come at the beginning of this season, I think it was the beginning of this season, or was it the end of last season, when Mr. Lindenson says that she has a job back, but yet we haven't seen her back at her work this entire time?
yes, we just know that she is employed.
Maybe he's paying her to not say anything about the time he came over and almost pissed in her corner and got wasted.
She
that's a good
blackmailed
job.
him. Yeah, hell yeah. Next, we have Brendan approaching Coach McGurk, who seems to be deflating soccer balls. Coach asked Brendan what he's doing there so early because the game doesn't start for another 5 minutes. That part made me laugh so much. So pretty much implying Brendan doesn't show up to the games on time at all. Brendan says that he's in trouble, and Coach is immediately like, what's her name?
So fair.
Brendan specifies, not girl trouble, golf trouble. And Coach even asks, what's the difference?
What is the difference? Tim?
They both cost you money. You know what I'm saying, fellas? Oh,
Wife bad.
Adele's looking at me like...
I love you so
It's
much.
a McGurk-sized
I love you
mirror
so
that we're
much.
holding up to the golfers of the world.
Brendan goes on to explain that he took lessons and he's still terrible, but he has to play golf with his dad on Sunday. So He confesses that he probably does need Coach's help. Coach says that he'll do it, and Brendan needs to meet him at the driving range first thing tomorrow morning, and he has to wear a hat. Finally, Brendan asks Coach what he's doing with the soccer balls, and Coach, with a very mischievous look on his face, says, "Leveling the playing field, Brendan." Leveling the playing field. He's even like, "Huh? Brendan?" And Brendan, as he's rubbing his hands together, tells Coach, "I love the way you just said that to me." That's the coming scene.
Oof, that's fair.
Well, now we are at the soccer game, and we see a kid kicking a flat ball right past Melissa. Coach yells at Melissa that if it went any slower, she'd be able to read the label. And that's when she claims she did. And it said Wilson. And Coach says, like that movie. And Melissa goes on to say that he grew a beard. He loved Wilson. Coach agrees and says he gained like 40 pounds and then lost 80 pounds. Great actor. Melissa asks if he won any Academy Awards for that one. And Coach says he doesn't know. He doesn't watch that, and his expletive gets drowned out by the sound of a whistle.
That's the realest thing McGurk's ever said.
I love movies. I don't give a shit about the Oscars, the Academy Awards. It's
No.
all just a fuck.
They're all rigged.
Exactly. It's a money game. It's a money game. The Academy especially. I won't go into this fucking tangent, but that's my 2 cents.
You're just grasping your tangents for this episode. You're like, they're mine. I'm not going to go on them.
Save them.
I'm going to go on later when you guys are gone.
When it's just me in the mirror.
The Academy's a lie.
Well, it's the next morning, and we're at Jamie's driving range. Brendan is working on his swing when finally he goes to take a swing and realizes Coach McGurk is walking up the middle of the driving range. Brendan asks him what he's doing, and Coach says, "The way you hit, I reckon, in front of you was the safest place to be."
Burn.
It's funny. Coach immediately gets hit in the head with a golf ball and yells, "Son of a bitch!" We hear a woman's voice saying, "Sorry, what the hell are you doing on the driving range?" And Coach yells, "I'm trying to help a kid," before passing out.
The woman sounded like Melissa.
Oh, yeah, it was for sure Melissa's voice. But I don't think it was the character of Melissa golfing.
No, it was Melissa from the future.
She's learning to golf so she can golf with Jason at the country
No.
club.
Oh my gosh! And then he's gonna propose
No.
to her.
Yes, we did
No.
it, guys.
Cracks
We
the
made
fucking
it.
code. Dun 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 dun.
I hear wedding bells.
I hear Mr. Lolly Lulu gonna officiate and then ruin it.
Lulu.
There's a thing I was gonna point out here. Is Brendan left-handed?
Is he?
He's
Shit, he is, because when him and his dad were golfing, they were facing each other.
Oh,
And
shit.
I was not paying attention, but I'm like, oh, maybe I just assumed maybe his dad was left-handed. But now that you say that, I'm thinking of where he was positioned. I'm like, nope, that's the opposite where I say I guess I would golf right-handed. Yes, Brendan is left-handed. Holy shit.
Wow, that's a good catch.
I was wondering about that because I've seen him not like this before, and I've never golfed like that before. I've always done it the other way.
Hold on. I am thinking of a scene towards the end of this episode where he does finally hit the ball, and it does go a significant distance, and he hit it in that scene right-handed. He's hitting left-handed in all these scenes and hitting absolutely fucking terribly.
Wow.
So maybe he thinks he's left-handed as a golfer, but he's wrong.
You guys are
Oh
smart.
my God.
No.
You guys are so smart. I'm just sitting here like a fucking.
It's like that.
Stop that.
It's like no. It's don't be mean to yourself. It's just like that one. It's like that one.
The tears are in my ears.
Your enemies.
The infections.
It's just like that one anime when the guy's like really good at tennis, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can beat him," and then he's like, "No, you don't understand. I'm right-handed." That's what Brendan's trying to do right now. He's trying to get really good at his bad hand and then turn around and win.
That's wild. That's funny. My brother, like, he'll do some things right-handed, but some things left-handed. Like, he used to bat in baseball left-handed, but he would throw right-handed.
Ambidextrous?
Not really, because there were some things he couldn't do both right-handed and left-handed. There were just some things he would do, like very few things he would do left-handed. Like it sounds weird because I keep saying left-handed, but he would skateboard left-handed. Like he would have his right foot on the board and kick off with his left foot, whereas like I would have my left foot on the board and kick off with my right foot. And then batting in golf, I believe he did left-handed
I
as
wonder
well.
if we're going to ever evolve to be ambidextrous, because thinking about using my left hand for anything makes me want to jump.
Yeah.
If we could just evolve it all, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Better
too.
life!
Well, now we see Coach with an ice pack on his head talking to Brendan. He goes on to say that Brendan needs to learn golf etiquette. Tells Brendan, let's say you sink a 25-foot putt to win a championship. What do you do? So he goes on to tell Brendan, you have to tip your hat and wave to the crowd. It's a golf joke. It's funny. I don't think it's a golf joke. I think it's just something golfers do. And I guess Coach thought it was a joke.
I've seen Happy Gilmore, and that's it. That's my only culture with golf.
Coach asks to see his swing, and Brendan takes a pretty crappy swing. Brendan takes a second swing, and Coach's reaction is, oof. And that's when Coach tells Brendan he thinks it's time to level the playing field. The following scene, we're in the editing room number 1 at the small residence. The bottom of the sign we see screening in process. And that's when Brendan is showing Melissa and Jason the edited version so far. Oh boy, it's convoluted. The movie starts, it's Brendan as an old man freaking out looking for Ginger, saying he needs his pills. He collapses. He then points to a shirtless Jason and says, you did this, and starts choking him. Then we have a cut. We see a shirtless Jason holding a fish. Melissa's character saying she can't find Ginger, her father's favorite fish. Jason holds out the fish saying, I hope this isn't. And Melissa yells, Ginger. Then we hear Brendan's character, the old man, saying, what's going on down there?
The old man.
So we have another cut, and we see a shirtless Jason being asked by Melissa if he thinks that she's a horrible person. He says, no, you're very pretty. And she points out, not horrible to look at, but horrible because we just had an affair. And you're my twin sister's fiance. So Melissa says she's going to check on his shirt, and Jason says, okay, I'll look at these stupid fish. Before tapping on the tank a couple times, and we hear the tank fall over and break. So another cut, and shirtless Jason on the couch with Melissa. She's saying his shirt will be ready in a while. He says that she reminds him a lot of Kathy, and she points out, yeah, because we're twins. She goes on to say she loves the way fish wiggle. It makes her want to dance. Jason grabs her hand and says, you're a wild one. And I love that pickle juice.
The entire time that I was watching this scene with whoever these characters are, but like Jason is dressed like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, and I couldn't get it out of my fucking head.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I was thinking, I know there's still part of this movie that we need to go over, but I was thinking that they were going to reveal that they weren't actually twins, but the same woman, and she was tricking him to cheat on her so she could ditch him at the altar. That never happened. Because that was the first time he met his her twin sister.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think you're right. I think something's up with this whole scenario.
Yeah.
And if the movie would have finished or played in the correct order, we might have figured that out.
Well, no, because if it was played backwards like that, then you'd find out at the end that she's plotting this whole time that it's not really a twin, that she's the same person.
Okay. I'm Brendan Small. Try pitching that to me.
No. I was just saying it could have, if that's where he was going, like that would have actually worked for like the backwards.
No, absolutely.
movie.
That was a good idea. I like your pitch a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Well, we cut again, and Jason has his shirt on and is talking to Melissa before she spills wine on it and says, oops, I'm so clumsy. Well, if you take off your shirt, I can wash it. We cut again. Melissa is done asking Jason if he wants a glass of wine. Cut again. Larry and Mary are meeting each other for the first time. Larry says her hands are very soft, and she says she likes to soak them in pickle juice. He's even like, really? And she's like, no, I just like saying it because it's funny, and I'm kind of wild like that.
I'm not like most girls.
Yeah.
When we were watching it, I was like, yeah, that's very, I'm not like other girls.
I soak my hands in pickle juice. Marry me.
I soak my hands in pickle juice. It's how I don't have COVID. Joe Rogan told me. I can cut that. That's fine.
I think I'll leave it, but just bleep out the name.
Yeah.
So we cut one more time, and it's Melissa inviting Jason in. So that's when we pause, and it's Brendan asking what they think. Jason's initial response is, sucks this. Get it? It's backwards for this sucks.
Damn.
This is what I'm talking about. I don't think this is I think he is like putting on a performance here because normally he'd be like, I don't know, Brendan. I think it's it's different.
No, I think you're right. I think he is kind of hamming it up for Melissa, but not because he'd typically react like that, because he typically goes with Brendan like unabashedly 100%. Grab the wig and stuff the pillow, Brendan. Whatever we got to do. Aye, Captain. You say. He is so game all the time, but now he has to like stand his ground to try to impress Melissa, but I mean, Melissa is saying the same thing, so
Maybe that's why maybe she said her opinion first, and he was like, yeah.
I would not be surprised.
I'll dress like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, right?
And
then
then
she'll
she'll
love
see,
me.
and then she'll see me.
Oh,
A winner.
Points all around.
So Melissa and Jason both say they don't really care that it's backwards. Jason again calls him a hack. Brendan quickly says, I'll fix it in post, before asking them, hey, what are you guys doing on Sunday?
I do want to say, I think Brendan is a little confused, but he's got the spirit. He's got an idea. He wants to experiment with his art. Let him experiment with his art. If it's bad, it's bad. He'll learn. But he's got to take the ball. He's got to try it. He's got to throw that ball to the other person to see if they can dunk it.
Yeah.
It's the first alley-oop.
Why after literally hundreds of movies are now Jason and Melissa like, Brendan, no, we don't like. They've done so many movies. I'm sure most of them they were like, okay, Brendan, whatever you say.
People don't like change.
I guess not. Well, it's Sunday morning. We're at the golf course. Andrew's potential client, whose name is Reed, is asking if they can start now. I am not 100% positive, but I believe Reed is voiced by Bill Broadus. Not super positive. 2 credits for additional voices this episode, which is Louis C.K., who we know as Andrew, and Bill Broadus. I think the golf instructor was John Benjamin. Again, not positive. Very hard to track down who does these like 2-3 scene characters. But Bill Broadus was listed as additional voice. Reed, the potential client, is the only voice I'm like, I don't know who that is. I think it's Bill Broadus.
I'll say you're right.
Thanks. The internet will disagree with you, but
Yeah, well, it's the internet.
Andrew's potential client is asking if they can start now. Andrew agrees, but Brendan requests that they wait just 1 more minute. Reed points out that the tee time was 7:03, so he doesn't know what they're waiting for. Andrew tries to stall by saying his kid is very good at golf and just shot a 94. And that's when the music swells and we see Coach McGurk walk up, backlit by the sun, with his silly little vest on we saw from the beginning of the episode. Andrew asks what McGurk is doing there, and Brendan says that he's his caddy. I love this. McGurk apologizes and said he needed to wait just a couple more minutes for the right moment for the sun to be in that position to get the effect.
When that happened, I was like, that is so Marson coded. Sorry, I'm late. I had to get the right shot of the sun.
It's so fucking true, though. It's so real. The other night, the park was closing, and I was getting a shot of the full moon. And I had 5 minutes before the park closed, but I was like, the cloud's about to go over it. It's about to go over the moon. I just gotta wait. Just gotta wait a little bit longer.
What are they gonna do? Call the police?
No, yes, they will. Absolutely. Andrew? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Andrew seems impressed. When Coach is like, I had to wait for the right moment, Andrew, I don't know if you noticed, Andrew was like, nice.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he had a big smile on his face, and he was like, nice.
They're getting along.
Reed asks again, this is your caddy? And Coach says, that's right, Bagger McGurk is the name, golf is my game. Coach McGurk is doing an impression of Bagger Vance from the 2000 film, The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Who is Bagger Vance?
I believe he was played by Will Smith. He was like a caddy. He was a caddy. Like that, the caddy, outfit and everything, all of that I'm pretty sure is fairly true to Bagger Vance. I'm not 100% positive, but if I had to guess, I would guess something along these lines. Bagger Vance, a caddy, played by Will Smith, old-timey clothes, probably a lot of racism going on. People were upset that dude had a black caddy, but he was a great caddy, helped a white man win. Everybody claps, the end.
So we made a movie about him.
That would be my guess.
I can fix that.
Yes. Tim still needs to see holes. That was a holes reference.
Nice. Reed asks Coach if he's wearing soccer cleats, and Coach confesses that he is. That's when Andrew confesses that McGurk is Brendan's soccer coach, and Reed does not seem impressed. So they all decide, okay, it's time to golf with Coach yelling, "Let's play ball!"
That got a nice chuckle out of Tim, who has seen this episode probably a dozen times at this point.
Yes. Yes, it did. Reed takes the first shot, and immediately Coach McGurk says, "Sweet shot, sir. I reckon the ball would thank you for the ride if it could." That's another kind of just random phrase between my brother and I. "Sweet shot, sir." Immediately, Andrew asks him to stop doing the whole Bagger McGurk thing. Even Brendan is like, yeah, it's getting a little annoying. Reed's son then takes his shot, and McGurk says, there you go, right down the middle, sir, like a drop of sweat down the middle of a woman's... I think he was about to say back, but everybody yells at him again.
Yeah.
Now it's Brendan's turn. He says he's going to have to consult with his caddy. This is when I made a realization in this episode I've seen a dozen times that I never noticed before. When McGurk talks about being in the high school tournament and choking, and then meeting the guy afterwards and stealing his golf clubs, It is a blue golf bag, and one of the clubs has a little stuffed animal kind of thing. It's like a golf cover. These are the bags that McGurk has at the golf course in the last scene.
He kept them all these years.
When Brendan goes up to pick a club, that's the exact same golf bag from when he stole it from the man in the tournament. I'm looking at 1750 right now. This is the later scene with McGurk golfing and Brendan getting the clubs. But if you go back to that scene, it's very early in the episode. That is the bag and clubs that he stole from the dude in the tournament in high school.
Stole fizzy lifting juice. I didn't even... You loser! Good day! I didn't notice that. I did notice that was the same little beaver thing, whatever it was. I didn't even think about it, the fact that he's had it all of these years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since the 70s.
Right.
Allegedly.
I was just focused on the part where McGurk or Brendan comes in and he's like, okay, which one should I have? He's like, just pick one. Just pick.
Yeah. Because when Reed clocks that, he immediately tells his son to stand back.
I don't know the difference with, and don't tell me, but I don't know the difference in all of these clubs and what they're supposed to do. So he's just,
right.
You know what? That's exactly what I do. Yeah, I'll pick one. Yeah, that one has a cool curve on it.
Yep. Well, I'll just say that is not the club he should be using right now. Very obviously. So yeah, Reed clocks it immediately and tells his son to stand back. Brendan makes a joke that he's sitting there with a club and not a baby seal in sight.
Got a really big chuckle out of me.
Coach laughed, but no one else seemed to. Brendan eventually does go on to hit the ball, and he hits it further than he's ever hit it before. And like Marson pointed out, he was hitting left-handed before. This shot, he's definitely right-handed. The way that he's standing is, that's a right-handed stance. So he does hit it further than he's ever hit it before. So maybe he is right-handed. He just sucked before because he was left-handed. It does hook into the woods. That's when we see Jason and Melissa sitting in the woods with camouflage, waiting for Brendan to hit the ball. Unsure if Brendan actually did hit the ball or not, Jason just tells Melissa to throw it. So that's when we see McGurk claiming that Brendan's ball, quote-unquote, found bark, hit a tree, and came out. Andrew even points out that luck is on his side. So very quick scene of Reed's son making a decent putt, and Brendan complimenting him, and Reed's son says, I should have made birdie. And that's when Brendan winks at him and says, yeah, well, I made birdie before I left the house. Hey, poop joke.
Poop joke. A little bit of poop joke.
I thought it was about making eggs. I didn't know that was a poop joke.
Poop joke.
I took it as a poop joke.
I took it as a poop joke.
Poop joke.
Another quick scene, we see Brendan trying to make a short putt, which he hits the ball over and over and over again before Reed finally says, mark him down for a 20 and let's go. So yet another quick scene with Brendan with the ball in front of him. He looks around before kicking the ball forward, and we immediately hear someone say, hey, I saw that. You moved your ball. Brendan kind of makes a face like, uh-oh, busted. And that's when we pan over to see that it's Reed actually talking to Andrew. Andrew starts getting defensive. He throws out a bullshit excuse about how, no, it was an accident. I was stretching my back and my knee went out and my foot hit the ball. And it's funny, Brendan walks up and asks his dad if he was cheating. And Andrew immediately was like, yeah, we're getting killed out there. Brendan, almost excited, keeps trying to tell Andrew that he cheated too. Reed and Andrew argue for a little bit. Andrew says it's part of the game. We all cheat. And Reed says, I'm not a cheater. But Andrew points out that's why we keep score with a pencil.
I just had a brain blast. At mini golf, they never had erasers on the pencils. Those sons of bitches.
You can't cheat without an eraser.
I'll lick it
Boom.
off, I swear to God.
Andrew says that's why we keep score with a pencil, and that's literally what Brendan said earlier.
Yes.
So Andrew assumes that Brendan is just trying to cover for him by saying he was cheating too. And that's when McGurk drives onto the green in his cart, tells Andrew that, hey, Brendan's telling the truth. Reed yells, you can't drive your golf cart onto the green. And Coach says, what are they going to do? Call the cops? And immediately Reed says, yes.
Not the precious green.
Not the land that we have to not give to people who need a house. No, this is for hitting ball. Hit ball and
Right.
look nice. Impress client. Get money.
It cracks me up too because McGurk is even like, Andrew, is this true? And Andrew says like, I mean, yeah, they could.
He looks so sad.
That's
McGurk
wild.
looks so sad when it's confirmed he could be arrested.
Yeah. Well, this is when Reed tells Andrew that they're just going to play through. They don't play with cheaters. And this is actually the second thing that I caught that I did not catch before.
I think you might.
Shit.
Reed and his son go to walk away,
Hmm.
and literally in the last frame or two that you can see his son, he reaches his arm backwards and flips them both off.
That little shit.
Yeah.
Did you catch that, Marcin?
I did.
No, I didn't.
I didn't catch it at the first time I was watching because I watch it while we're like talking about it. But I did go like cut to the end to kind of see if there was a beginning, and I caught that for like a second because I went ahead and I hit on that thing, and in that frame I paused right there and I saw it. I was like, but did not catch it the first time around.
When boop, like just a real quick reach back, middle finger,
Damn.
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Little stinker.
Yep. So yeah, didn't catch that, I think until I was doing the breakdown of the episode. So even when I watched it earlier with Adele and all the times I've seen it before, I never caught that the kid reaches back and flips them both off.
Like father, like son.
Well, Brendan feels bad and tells his dad, I think you just lost a client. And Andrew says, I don't want to work with that guy anyway. He's an ass. And he's not a cheater like us.
They're not like us. They're not like us.
Well, that's when Coach approaches and says that he was the one that helped Brendan cheat. Brendan does point out that Melissa and Jason helped, and they pop out of the ground with like camouflage and like they were like in bushes. Oh, real quick, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Jason's little camouflage thing, he has like a strap going across his chest. It's filled with candy bars.
I saw that. That was really
Thought it
cute.
said-
This is all candy
yeah, it said
addiction.
syrup
Yeah.
on it.
Coach tells Andrew he's a lucky guy to have a son like Brendan.
Aw.
Oh.
Yeah, they agree. And this is when the scene kind of turns into the scene that we saw at the beginning of the episode, with McGurk saying his dad taught him a poem when he was a kid. Andrew asks if this is something he feels compelled to tell, and Coach says, well, I'm here, and I've got the poem locked and loaded. He begins the poem, something, 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 run. He's paraphrasing here, something, 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 fun.
All right, Marcin. What did you think the poem was?
I believe it was, sorry I was late. I had to run to get in position in front of the sun.
Hey, wait a minute. That lines up
Yeah.
perfectly.
When is this poem from?
My brain, when I was thinking about it earlier in the episode.
Oh, shit. I thought it was actually from something.
No, my brain.
If you would have just been like, oh, yeah, that's an old poem from like 96, I would have been like, okay, cool, man.
96.
You did it. Well, if you would have been like, oh, it's from 2022, I'd have been like, I don't think that was the poem he was referring to in 2002.
It's an ancient poem from 1996.
96 BC.
The 1900s. Oh, shit. Sorry, that tickled me.
Andrew thanks Coach for what he kind of, sort of did for Brendan, and that's when Coach quickly corrects him by saying, for helping your kid. Coach says it's no problem. He doesn't mind helping Brendan because he is a good kid, and he likes him. He even shakes Andrew's hand. That's when the cop approaches and tells McGurk, okay, pal, let's go.
It's very sweet, to be honest. Very sweet of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's when Coach asks Andrew about being a lawyer. Andrew claims he does more out-of-court litigation and he can't really help. And that's when we cut over to Paula, who repeatedly says, I found it. I found the foot. It is finished. The clock has stopped. I have found the foot. Andrew asks Brendan why she's doing that, and he says he has no idea. The camera punches in on Brendan as he says, what a week.
Bow, bow, bow.
Now, real quick, like I said, we get a perspective from Paula that we don't get in the scene when they show it originally, which is what she has been doing this whole time, which is a very basic picture of find the following items. It is a beach scene. The items are a ball, birds, blanket, bucket, castle, chair, cooler, clouds, foot, pale, sun, umbrella. Take like 1.2 seconds to look at this photo. It's, if you're on the YouTube video version of this, it's at 22 minutes and 1 second. All of these things are so fucking apparent in the picture. The fact that it took her days to find this foot is wild to me.
Get it together, Paula.
I think
Come
she's having
on.
a disassociative episode. Like, because she also wasn't supposed to be at the golf course. She just showed up there.
She was just wandering the earth.
I think she had a manic episode, to be honest, because she collapses right after.
You know, we've
Right.
all been there. We've all
Honestly,
been
yeah.
there.
Hell yeah. And that is the end of season 3,
Episode?
episode 7.
Insane.
Yep.
My Cheatin' Heart.
We are chug-a-lugging along.
Yes, we
Before
are.
we jump into like the post discussion, did you catch the name of the officer?
No.
It was Sergeant Sargent.
Oh, very Mr. Sir of him.
and very obviously voiced by Brendan.
Ah, yes.
Ah, that's fair.
We're just going to have subtle holes references until Tim watches
Honestly,
this movie.
please. I've also been told by Google that my other reference for golf was in High School Musical 2 when it all took place on a country club. Yeah, so those are the two things.
Bet on it, bet on it, bet on me.
I don't dance, and then dances.
I don't dance. It dances the entire song.
Proceeds to
We
dance
got to
whole
do a
movie.
marathon of all of those High School Musicals.
Absolutely. I've only seen the first two.
I also have
so.
only seen the first two. Have not seen the third one.
The third one I heard was worse, but had better visuals and production
I think
value, but not as good
I
of a
think
story.
it'll still be fun. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I'll smoke.
Smoke.
Let's go. All right. We got all of our tangents in, kids. We
Yep.
are good. Let
Mhm.
us go over grades. Jason first. I do not have high hopes for Jason
Yeah.
this episode.
Jason was a stinker. I'll
See,
admit
the
it.
thing is, like, I have a very big thing about showing off to other people at the expense of your
That's a
at the
huge,
expense of your friend.
huge
Yeah.
pet peeve of mine, dude. I saw that shit in high school all the time.
Mhm.
Fucking guys will just fucking rip on their bros because there is a woman around. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
And it's not even. Never have I met someone and they'd be like, "Oh, but he was such a dick to his friends. Like that's what really got me. He was just a complete asshole to his friends, and I got wet." And it's just like that doesn't happen.
Really disrespected those closest to him.
It's a real representation how he's going to treat me in the future, and I look forward to it.
All right, Marcin, what do you got for Jason?
Besides all of that stuff, even when he was trying to help Brendan out at the end, where he was like, just whatever, throw the fucking ball. I don't give a shit. Just throw it. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Like, and even the funny things he was saying is like, you're a hack. And he's just like, I don't want you to do this thing. I gave him a D. This is the worst I've seen Jason in a while. It's not that he's gross, but it's because he's gross.
No, I get it. This is a definite D for Dick episode for Jason.
That is completely fair and warranted.
But I do like the little touching Melissa's hand, calling her Melissa.
Yeah, that was really cute. But
I get it though.
Yeah, he was also an asshole.
He's dressed for it.
Nice, fair.
Yep.
Episode grades. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Let's do it.
I really liked this episode, as I do for most episodes. Would I say it's like an S tier episode for me? Probably not, because I feel like the ones that I gave S tiers to before, Melissa has to be a badass in order for me to give it an S tier. That's my criteria. So I'm gonna give it an A. It was really good.
Nice, very good. I agree wholeheartedly. Marcin, do you want to go next? Or
sure, I'll go next. So here's the thing. This was a very good episode for me specifically. I related to Brendan more than I've ever related to him in any other episode. Specifically, like, I want to try this new thing and everyone's telling me not to. I'm like, I'm doing it anyway. That's and then also just the McGurk coming. Sorry guys, I had to wait for the honestly like easy A+. I don't know how I'm gonna feel when we get to the tier list, but like this could be an S tier episode for me. I really like this episode. So
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I get that. I agree 100%. Literally to like what both of you said. Yeah, I agree so much. And this episode, like I explained before, they had like a little promo for home movies on Adult Swim that just used like clip after clip after clip of this episode. So literally from I'm trying to help a kid to like the silliest parts are just like earworms for me because I remember those good old days of Adult Swim. So this episode, again, season 3 has so many bangers for me. I'm so excited to show you guys so many episodes. And this episode for me, echoing what Adele said, it's not quite an S episode for me, but it's probably one of the easiest A+ episodes I can give. Absolutely.
Had such a great time with this episode. So. Genuinely had such a good time. I wasn't cringing. There was no piece of shit that showed up that made me angry.
Right.
It was just a fun time.
Yeah, no secondhand embarrassment, no. And the structure has been a little different. I think we're really getting used to these ABC kind of plot lines. And in this one, it was kind of like a Brendan A, Brendan B plot line. So the fact that Brendan had to kind of straddle both these plot lines, he had to inevitably bring Jason and Melissa and Coach into the whole golfing thing. I really liked it. And then of course, the whole starting the episode with this final scene of the episode and then having the episode being about messing with the continuity of your thing. It was so well done. Oh, yeah. So well done. So yeah, very easy A+.
Great episode.
Agreed. So that being said, anything we'd like to add about the episode that we didn't quite get to?
Golf sucks. Don't play it.
It does suck.
Agreed.
Don't support it.
It sucks so bad.
Unless it's on Nintendo, it's like a Mario Golf. There's a Hot Shots Golf I really liked. Wii Golf, I mean...
Virtual golf only.
Yeah.
Real golf is such a waste of land. It's
the same way I feel about cars.
Agreed.
It's like we've built our cities and our lives around cars, and it takes up so much space. Same for golf. Preserve nature. Don't tear it down. Don't try to play on it. I love that. That's our biggest takeaway from this episode is fuck golf. I hate golf.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I agree. So that being said, do we have any quick plugs or anything we want to throw out there? I personally have nothing.
I wrote a poem. It's sorry I was late. I had to run to get in position in front of the sun. Good night, everybody.
Beautiful.
Retweet. Love that.
Love it. I'm trying to think of what a quote from this episode I could end it on, but I've got nothing, so I will just say,
It's consolation. I don't care.
Sucks this.
And finally, I'll fix it in post. We
Such
did
a
it.
fun. Yep.
That was fun. That was a very fun
All right,
episode.
let's end it.
I'm going to hit record in 3, 2, 1. That's going to do it for this episode of Rewatching Home Movies. Join us next week for Season 3, Episode 8, titled Guitarmageddon. If you liked what you heard, check out our Linktree at Linktree/RHMpod. There you can like, follow, and subscribe. Send us an email or leave us a 5-star review. Thanks to Jens for the refresh of our logo and Chris Bongat for the use of our theme song. On behalf of myself, Tim, and my co-host Marcin and Adele, thank you for rewatching home movies with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.
And then afterwards, all right, same time next week, guys.